Sexy. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I'm Dr. Limor, your friendly sex and relationship counselor and therapist. This is anti-aging sensuality. And today I want to relate to a topic that was very relevant in your questions and your inquiries. And that had to do with initiating sex in a relationship. Who's initiating more, men or women? Who's responding better? All of the above when it comes to initiating and exchanging sex in the relationship. So men and women, we examined that. And I was asked again a few times before, and I wanted to relate to this, whether the status of our relationship, if we are married or just cohabitating, does it have any impact on our sexual exchange, and how often it is, and how do we initiate it. So I went and investigated, and I came across a very interesting study that involved 22 men and 55 women. It was controlled, so it didn't really matter in the sense of the number. But the study actually examined a few things. I want to be particular. So it examined sexual initiation, who's initiating more. It examined the responses to these initiations. Was it positive? Was it negative? How often or what kind of methods was used? Were used if we were responding easily or in a more complex way. It was a list of things. I'm just going to bring you the tip of the study just to kind of make it more clear what are what is the data in this sense. And the third thing that was examined, whether who's considering to initiate sex but then avoiding it eventually. So that sounds like something that a more kind of thinking, analyzing person would do. And who is it? Drum roll. Of course, it's women. But I want to I'm going to jump into the gender feature of this study. But I want to start and say that the results were indicating that, of course, there is a difference to some degree between men and women. Men were obviously and quite expectedly more initiating sex and more interested in kind of engaging in this more often than the female partners. However, and that is important to say, contrary to sex stereotype, when it was initiated, men and women were pretty similar in their interest in engaging in this. So there needs to be, what is the conclusion of this could be that the initiation is the problematic or more challenging part for women. But once it is initiated, the responses and the acceptance of the sex offered is quite the same for men and women. So men were responding the same way that women were responding if the sex was initiated. Obviously, if the men suggested it, they are, of course, interested in engaging in it. But there wasn't a difference, such a big one, in the response to sexual initiation. Another thing that was interesting in this study was that there was a certain difference between cohabitation and marriage in the sense of how much sex we are engaging in, and of course that in comparison to marriage, the cohabitating partners were having more sex. So in some degree, if we are in a relationship that is not solidified in a way by marriage, maybe we're more interested, and that doesn't, it was controlled for the number of years, so that doesn't have to do with a new relationship versus an older or longer relationship. So the fact that we are engaging in in sexual relations within a marriage or just cohabitating, I guess something in the factor that is more committing is a negative influence on the amount of sex that we initiate or respond positively to. So in the cohabitating couples, they were having more sex than the married couples. And of course, people that testified that they were sexually satisfied were responding more positively to these initiations than people that were stating about themselves that they were less satisfied with sex or this sexual relationship in particular. So that is quite obvious without even thinking, because obviously if we are enjoying the sex in the relationship, we're going to have more of it. Um, but in general, it just comes to show us that there are differences between men and women. The initiation part, even in a world where we are very strong women and everything is very equal, and women are initiating and coming on to men or picking men up or anything of this sort, we still see some traditional factors when it comes to initiating and suggesting sex, although not any difference or not significant difference when it comes to agreeing to receiving or to giving or to exchanging this sex. So hopefully this sheds some light on this topic of marriage and differences between genders when it comes to initiating and accepting sexual exchange. I hope you're enjoying this lovely day. Here it's approximately 75 degrees and I'm thrilled. And it's very nice to see you here. Please stay sexy and subscribe, and I'll see you here very soon. Bye-bye.